Hey guys, it's Eric Crownover from Nerdy Geek Talk, the source for all your nerdy geeky needs, here with episode 39 of Steel City Bots. This is not a normal Steel City Bots episode, but it's a very, very big deal, so we're making an episode about it, even though this is not our normal recording date, or our normal recording, well, not all of our normal recording people, but it is June 5th, and the reason we are recording is the Bumblebee movie trailer is out. But before we break that down and get into that, first, who do I have with me tonight? Jared, how are you doing?
Still doing good.
That's good, that's good. Soundjack, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm on vacation, so I cannot complain. Miguel, how are you?
I'm hungry and it's not a time to be eating. Um, as long as you want the next day to go fine and not horrible.
I feel ya. I'm also very hungry. But yeah, we also may be joined by Chris at some point if she pops in. We'll see if slash when that happens. But yeah, so we will start bringing this down. First of all, I would just like to point out that the general reaction to this trailer has been extremely, extremely positive. The most negative views that we've seen basically online for us personally that we've seen is basically it's okay, or like, it kind of looks like the same stuff, but not like terrible. Or I've seen one person say this was just like, come on, why? But it was someone insisting that this trailer is the only good footage, and that basically, if they want to keep people interested, they need to just recut this trailer for the other trailers, so no one sees that it's really just another Bay movie and that we're going to hate it and stuff. And I was like, okay, it's not a Bay movie, but anyways, yeah. So generally, though, very, very positive reactions to multiple aspects of it. But I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, do you think generally the thing people are most excited about is the aesthetic that's presented in this movie? Am I wrong about
Yes.
that, or?
I mean, I think the aesthetic of the robot design, certainly, but also the. I'm not sure aesthetic would necessarily be the right word for what I'm describing, but the lack of the typical traits of Michael Bay movies,
Mm-hmm.
meaning explosions and terrible, terrible jokes.
Like,
There isn't a single explosion in this trailer,
There's a
well,
helicopter that's on fire that probably
but we
exploded.
don't see the explosion, so it doesn't count.
No, we don't.
sounds like I
And
think what you're trying to say is like the overall feel of the trailer and the feel of them might be is just like almost completely different from
Mm-hmm.
the other Michael
Yeah, so just to get it out of
Bay
the way,
movies.
yeah, just to get it out of the way up front, Michael Bay is not directing this movie, if you were not aware. It's Travis Knight, is what we said,
yes,
right? Travis
yes.
Knight. Um, so, I've been very curious about this, not necessarily super excited, but curious. This trailer turned me from curious to now I am excited. What about you guys? What did the trailer do for you?
Um, for me, I'm going to say I'm excited for this upcoming movie, especially because of this trailer. However, it is a more cautious excitement than, say, I am currently having with Pokemon. Because if you're Pokemon fans, you'll know Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee have been announced for the Switch, and I saw that trailer, and I am super hyped for those games. Um, I am not as super hyped, probably because of just the general track record of not necessarily in terms of how much money they make, but how much I enjoy or how good the movies of Transformers films are compared to the Pokemon games. Uh, so, but I am hopeful and I am excited for the Transformers films.
Jared, you were the
This
first.
Transformer film.
Yeah, Jared, you were the first one to watch this at 4 a.m. when it dropped. How did it affect you?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, I had to restrain myself from making a lot of happy noises because everybody else in my house was asleep. So I was kind of like whisper yelling, and especially whenever I saw one scene that we'll be talking about a little later. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, for me, before trailer and before I was gonna see the movie like all of like everybody else currently on this episode was going to. Um, but I didn't have all that like strong a feeling towards it because I'm like whenever I first heard about it, I was like, really? Like I didn't really have like that strong a connection or like I need to see this movie or anything like that. Um, but yeah, after going through and watching this trailer a couple times, I actually want to go see it now. Like it it actually grabbed my attention, or at least got more attention from me than I had before.
Mhm.
I am still kind of like I'm taking this with a bit of a grain of salt because of past Transformer experiences, but from what I could gather, like this is yeah, from what I can gather, this is kind of like a step in the right direction for these films and the live action franchise because this movie has the opportunity to actually be pretty good from what I've seen.
Mhm. Miguel, how did the trailer affect your hype?
Um, I'm a lot more hyped now than I was originally, just because like we hadn't seen much. We just heard things between the fact it's like, oh, like different director should be in a different direction than lots of firsthand accounts from people who had seen like pre-screenings and everything. But then finally getting my the chance to see it for myself, especially since up until this point we haven't really seen anything beyond like the
Oh
beyond
no.
the
Did your microphone move or what?
it fell apart. Oh no.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'll be holding it now. We haven't seen anything beyond like the IDW preview, which by all means, like we who knew whether or not that would translate to what we were going to see in the movie. So finally getting a chance to see both just the aesthetic they're going for the robot designs, but also just the overall tone that the trailer at the very least is putting out. I'm very optimistic. They seem to be taking a lot of the um, good lessons from what people enjoyed from the original 2007 movie. Like this film, as much as it um, feels like a fresh take, feels very much like an homage to, or at least from the trailer, seems like they're going for an homage to the original movie. More so in the like a kid in their
I
car
was gonna say
type,
it's a
type
kid. It's the kid in the car story again.
right? Which honestly, at this point, like 10 years later, I'm fine with having again, especially since they're presenting it in a way where like Bumblebee looks different enough that it's like you could easily have just used this as the springboard for a new like a rebooted continuity rather than doing it as a prequel.
Prequel, yeah. Which makes me curious if they would even consider doing that
I
later
mean,
on.
what they've said as far as what this movie is supposed to be doing is that like while it's not a hard reboot, they're at the very least potentially going to use this as sort of like new focus in both tone and like I'm assuming aesthetic, which would be good.
Hmm.
I'd totally accept if like 3 years down the line the sequel we get is a direct sequel to this and kind of just says, you know what, those future movies, yeah, maybe they don't happen.
Yeah. But
Or
hey,
the
I was gonna say we'll have to see how it turns out, how heavily it plays into the future movies or not,
or
because
even
we have
yeah,
no
like
idea.
because we have I like give us some sort of post credit scene that like undoes like have
The
what was I
time travel gun.
no what does this no either yeah have Hot Rod show up from the future and like have him kill Unicron and then kill him in the 80s and then he just disappears and then we're like, yep, we're fine. We're fine. No, he has his time gun, but like Vector Prime's like Prime Master slapped onto it. And he explicitly calls it, yes, the Prime Master of Vector Prime. And then he goes and kills Unicron, and he's like, and then he calls himself Rodimus Prime, and he's just like, I've done it, and then he just disappears.
And there you have it. Sorry, guys, we just spoiled the Bumblebee movie.
Either that, or
Thanks to this guy.
Either that, or we've made a better Bumblebee movie that can possibly live up to that expectation.
I'm not gonna lie though, one hope I have, which we don't see from this trailer, we do get to see at least one other character other than Bumblebee. But I've been hoping that that it would be neat if Hot Rod showed up in this movie at all, like a little, maybe. If he shows up in like the prequel comic, I'd be fine with that too. But I would really, really love it if Hot Rod showed up in this movie, because the one thing from the last night that I really liked that I thought they could have done more with, other than the whole Nemesis Prime thing, was the Hot Rod and Bumblebee being like almost brothers, like brothers in arms, especially with fighting Nazis and stuff. I was like, that's cool. Yeah, yeah. I would like to see the two of them team up more, because even though it was like, 10 seconds, them fighting Nazis was pretty darn cool together. So I would not mind seeing a little bit of team up between Hot Rod and Bumblebee, but hey, we'll see. Um, but the trailer itself, let's get into that. Um, so it opens up with just it's counting on does the 3, 2, 1 Bumblebee the movie with a couple shots. There's like Bumblebee jumping down from somewhere, the girl, and then it's just like saying, "Hey, there's a Bumblebee movie," because that's like the 10-second teaser they posted the night before.
I mean, also, I feel like that's very set up to be a YouTube trailer, because that's like the first 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's that type of thing, which is normal. But anyways, once we get into the trailer itself, why is my computer being weird? Anyways, the trailer starts, and we get the shot of the girl, whose name is Charlie, right? Well, actually, first we get the sun rising, and I think it's Bumblebee in the woods. But then we get the Paramount logo. Then we have what I'm talking about with the girl, Charlie, standing near the water, looking out, and then her riding her bike. And then she goes to some junkyard somewhere, which there's a bunch of cars, boats, and junk around, and she uncovers a car. This car's not a Camaro, it's a Volkswagen, and a yellow one. I wonder if it's one that we know. Is it a talking car? Wow, that seems familiar. Talking Volkswagen. That couldn't be any different car that could be confused at all, could it? Fun fact. That's why Bumblebee didn't have the original Volkswagen mode in the first movie. It's because they were worried that it would be confused and trademark stuff. But anyways, uh, we get to see that there is a beehive inside of Bumblebee, and it's not bumblebees, sadly. It's not bunny bees either. I'm not sure why I said that. It's not bumblebees. They are, I'm pretty sure, honeybees, if you want to get all technical. But no, sadly not bumblebees. But there are bees living inside Bumblebee, which makes me wonder how long has it been broken down there, and will the prequel comic explain that? Judging on some conversation that we've had, though, I'm guessing not, because we kind of have a theory on the order of this trailer almost being reversed in terms of the order of the movie a little bit, in terms of some stuff we see at the end of the trailer. We're pretty sure it's towards the beginning of the movie. But anyways, we get to see that the key of Bumblebee's key is just left inside of him. So I'm curious why he's been there long enough for bees to make a home inside of him, but no one's taken the car that has a key in it. But anyways, Charlie notices this, drives the car home. She's all happy, and I think it's her brother sitting next to her. Then she takes it inside. She's working at the garage. Then she noticed something off with the car. Uh, she's like touching it, and then something just falls out of it, which I'm like, what part of Bumblebee just fell out?
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah,
wondering, maybe is that a gun or something? I don't know. I can't tell what it is. It looks yellow, but just like, is that a body part falling off? But either way, she climbs inside of him, under him, and sees sees a face, which I just have to admit was really weird the first time I watched this trailer because to me, watching these movies for a decade now, I always just assumed that every single part of them became every single part of the vehicle, and there wasn't like any robot mode stuff stored away in the vehicle. It all became parts of the vehicle, especially because every single robot was made of like a million pieces. So I was like, well, they all just come apart and fit back together somehow into the car. But apparently, this may not be the case because we have visible head syndrome on Bumblebee. As soon as Charlie looks underneath the car, there's just a Bumblebee face staring at her. Doesn't have the helmet or anything, but there's a face for sure. But his eyes light up, and he transforms. And I gotta say, this new design that we see is very tiny, but very, very good.
mm,
Yes.
Miguel, was it you that said that basically this is a good combination of Prime movie? Oh no, it's Soundjack. That's right. Say it was
Yeah.
a decent combination of G1 movie and Prime, which I would totally agree with.
mm,
Uh, in all honesty, I don't think they could have really made it any better for me in terms of still like, especially it's still keeping in continuity with the movies. I
mm.
mean, maybe a little bit more of like horns pronounced would be okay, but in all honesty, we see a little bit of a change later that gives him more defined horns. So I don't know. I really like this design. It's very smooth. How do you guys feel about it? I love it, in all honesty.
I really like it actually a lot. Um, Soundjack stated, it's a perfect blend of just a bunch of different continuities, and it works well.
Is this your favorite movie, Bumblebee body?
As of right now, yeah. Um, it might be due to change shortly, but as of right now, from what I've seen, yeah.
Uh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Miguel and Soundjack, what do you think? Your
This
favorite or
is
no?
this is 10 out of 10 cutest Bumbleboy. Uh, and I mean, he is definitely smaller than his Camaro body, but I think his Camaro body is supposed to be like 17 feet tall, and I guess the Volkswagen body is like 12 feet tall by just comparing the shot with him and Charlie, who's I'm going to guess like 5 something, and doesn't come up to his hip quite.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's almost just twice as tall as her, basically, was what I was thinking. Like, not, I think a little bit more, but basically he's two humans
Yeah,
tall, which,
yeah.
God, that's a tiny bee.
I mean, he's still taller than Jazz,
Is he?
but
I
I feel like
He
that's
might be
how tall,
shorter.
I'm pretty sure that's how tall Jazz is, or maybe even a little shorter.
I thought Jazz was supposed to be 10 feet.
I don't know. Now I'm kind of curious. Although, in all fairness, we don't know how tall Bumblebee is in this, but
Yeah, we are just
let's see, we're
speculating. So,
guesstimating based on also the perspective of the shot too, which could
Yeah.
definitely change it. So,
One thing
well,
that good.
I was basing the height off the TF Wiki's main image for the Bumblebee movie has a poster of them two
yeah,
standing next to each other straight up, and that's what I've been basing my height guesstimate off of.
true. So I don't know. I am kind of curious who's bigger. Although I know that from the studio series figures that basically the old body Bumblebee and the Jazz figures are very similar in size. If they're either the same or Jazz is slightly smaller, so it wouldn't surprise me if Bumblebee is basically right on the mark or a little bit bigger, just barely.
Mhm.
So that would be right. But yeah, he's a tiny bee. Miguel, your favorite bee or no?
No, I definitely think it's maybe on par for me with the classic Camaro design from the first movie.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely like a lot of the changes they've made. The fact that he's smaller, stockier is fine because it kind of like when you look at him, you think, oh, that's Bumblebee. Like it's
Hmm.
not. There's no like hemming and hawing, maybe scratching your head and thinking, I think that's Bumblebee. Very similar to the other uh,
Character we
robot
see.
we
Yeah.
see in the trailer. This aesthetic, I feel like they're very much going for whatever iconic elements they can that makes it like I've been hearing lots of people, specifically with the other character that shows up, were people who are even just like vaguely familiar with the franchise are like, oh, that's so and so.
Hmm.
So I think they're doing a really good job. And then with the design, we see him in the trailer with his battle mask. This was what I was saying before catastrophe struck. Um, the battle mask very much harkens back, or at least for me, seems to harken back to the to animated
Yeah,
Bees battle
animated
mask,
for sure.
which then was an homage to Bee's toy head from the original
Mhm.
G1 toy. So
Yes.
having something that harkens back all the way to the ancestral roots of the character, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But can I comment? I just love how there's the hexagonal pattern over the eyes on when the battle mask is down. It's just such a nice touch. I love it.
Hmm. But yeah, good bee. I would tie it with World War II bee. That's my other favorite movie body bee, actually. Bee body, actually. So
Give
yeah,
us World War II B Hasbro, you cowards.
yeah, I know. But then we get bee cowering after. Whoa, you good?
Yep, just a cop. My throat feels a little clogged up for some reason.
That was a
So
cough. I thought that was a dog.
Yeah,
no,
I
that
don't
was a
know.
cough.
That was insane loud on my end, at least. But anyways, then we get B cowering and hiding in the corner after he transforms and such, and they're both kind of staring at each other like, "What? What? Please don't hurt me! Please don't hurt me! I won't hurt you! I won't hurt you!" Um, and then we get him putting his face on her hand, which is so cute, so adorable. I don't understand how B thinks that little human can hurt him, but anyways, uh, we get that. Then we get.
Can
Wait, what were you
sorry.
gonna say?
I noticed this a couple of times while watching through this trailer when Charlie's doing the hands up thing and then
Mm,
Bumblebee goes into right before that, there's a notable look at her right hand with there being like the scar or bruising going on near the palm. I'm very curious why that's there.
yeah, me too. I did notice that before.
Like
Oh,
oddly specific.
yeah. Oh, but joining us now, we do have Chris.
Hi,
How are you,
Hello.
Chris?
I have a very sore throat. Do you want to know why it hurts?
Um,
I was doing so much shouting and screeching today at work in celebration of this glorious trailer. The pain in my
so
throat.
I'm guessing everyone can tell that Chris liked it. But yeah,
I was literally dancing amongst the mouse cages and the corn. It was glorious. Seriously, I was, as soon as I saw Starscream, I was on the way to work, and
well, thanks for saying that. We weren't there yet.
oh, sorry,
But I mean,
my
pretty much
bad.
everyone that's watched this has already known that. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, the next shot we get
I
is
really
Bumblebee
just
running
took
through
that.
the forest, which is actually him with his Jeep body. We've figured out. So the Jeep body that we see, his armored up body, we see later in the trailer. is actually him running in the forest, then him getting shot at, and we're pretty sure we know who he's getting shot at by. Is just our guess. Is the other robot in the trailer, which is Starscream. But then we get shots of girl jumping in water to save Bumblebee, which why do you jump in water after a robot? Like
Well,
the
Spike
robot's
jumped in
fine.
the water after Hound in Where the Meets the
True.
Eye.
That
part.
doesn't mean it makes sense.
No, but it's relevant to G1. So
That still doesn't mean it makes sense. That my
I'm
issue was
saying-
not
I'm not
why
saying
did they do it in the
just
movie. I'm saying why would you jump into water after a robot?
because the Kool-Aid Man is red.
Okay, but I knew from the second that I saw this in the trailer that this moment with B and her was going to be turned into a bunch of jokes about the shape of water, which it already has. I literally knew that before checking the interwebs, but I didn't check the internet before watching this trailer. And yeah, of course, that is what happened. I was correct in that assumption. We see Bumblebee transforming on the beach, and he gives his new girlfriend a hug as he runs away from Sector 7, which Jared also did note that there is someone else who is presumably with Bumblebee and Charlie because there's someone being held by agents in the background. My guess is that it's her brother, but I don't know. It could be a boyfriend or something. I don't know.
Or father.
Probably he looks younger, even though it's
Oh, okay.
hard to see. But I think he's younger. I can't tell very much
Okay.
so. But then they're running away from John Cena. John Cena's with all the agents, the tanks. Then we get his armored up look, which man is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Which is him looking a little more tough and having the battle mask on, and he has entirely different forearms and chest and stuff. So we're pretty sure he turns into a Jeep at this point. He also has a tire destroyed if you didn't notice that on his back, so he's not doing too great. Someone's after him. We're pretty sure that this is earlier in the movie, is what I think. Who was it? Was it Jared that was kind of
Yep.
guessing that?
Yeah,
And
that
that
was
I like this theory that this is earlier in the movie, and that he has this Jeep body. So he's getting attacked by someone somehow here. Then he's going to run through the forest at just towards the beginning of the movie, where he's getting shot at, presumably by the robot we see in the next shot. Uh, yeah, it's almost definitely Starscream. Although Miguel, or is Miguel here? I know he said he'd be right back. Darn it. What was the other name that people were saying that, like, during the screening test that this character was called?
There's been some people online saying that people who claim that they've been to the screenings where the footage has been shown before, that apparently the character has been referred to as Ramjet.
Which is interesting, but
Yeah.
almost the entire internet right now thinks that this is Starscream. Which,
Especially since he has a straight up seeker head.
yeah.
yup.
Yeah.
Not
And
a conehead head, seeker head.
there was something I noticed. I don't know if anyone else has. Maybe I'm just trying to find patterns. But his face, if you take away the vent ears, it kind of resembles Prime Starscream. He's got like the longer chin.
I do
and
see
in the
that.
middle of the
I do
forehead,
see
he's
that
got
a
the
little bit.
spiky thingy red under the eyes. I'm not saying it's a perfect match, but it's something I noticed.
It's a lot more Fall of Cybertron-y than...
Well, I haven't seen that one,
Prime.
so
I
And
think,
what
I
I'm-
mean,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Tyler.
she's got a point though with the goatee, like bot chin, but like beside, like that's like the one prime element they brought into like the head design. I'm certain when we see it, it's going to be more if it's very similar to what Bumblebee looks like, I'm certain it will look more primey, just as a much more sleeker body than the movie aesthetic has been.
I don't know if this will necessarily have a lot of Prime influence. I think it'll be a lot more like just G1 movie mashup than how B
Yeah.
has some Prime influence. Although I could see them like necessarily maybe doing something with like sort of the robots in disguise, which is the Prime continuity, but an entirely different body for Starscream, which is essentially that's like G1 and animated combined, which
Well, I'm not necessarily Prime Starscream specifically, just the general Prime aesthetic of the more complex transformation design that turns into a
basically,
sleeker.
I mean, Prime is basically like combining movie into more of a like cartoony, like G1-y feel. Is how I've always seen it. Is that Prime was almost the in between movie and G1 aesthetic.
That's not how I viewed it, but I can understand why you say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. It's just. Yeah. Anyway,
It's like
One thing that I am noticing, if you look at like the mouth, whenever I have my studio series screamer right next to me, like they're like the mouth part, they look extremely like similar, like almost like how Bumblebee's head kind of looks like how he will look in the future movies.
Oh, his
Um,
face is almost identical for Bumblebee. Like the helmet's different, but the face is almost like it's not identical, but it's very clearly like this is a bit more of a mashup. But yeah, I have to admit that I saw that too. I was like, okay, the mouth sort of looks Starscreamy, like movie Starscreamy, but the rest is certainly like, wow, that's a G1 Seeker head in the movies.
yeah. So we are at least we're hoping, and most people are thinking it's Starscream, but we are at least getting some form of a seeker in this movie.
I'm almost certain it's Starscream, but
Same.
we'll see.
It's Scream Star.
it's actually going to be
Non-Dorito
riddling,
Starscream.
guys.
He was like, at the end of this movie, I hope the post-credit scene is just like, what is the most fear, like, what is the future? And someone's like, hey, have you tried this Dorito? And he's like, that's it. And he gets his new bot mode. But anyway,
Or he sees like a bag of Doritos and is like, idea.
but we get to see him soaring through the sky, and he has forearm guns, which is always nice because you need to have good forearms if you want to win a battle.
Yes.
Then we get Charlie looking scared. Bumblebee driving up a hill and his arm transforming and just grabbing the ground as he's skidding around, which is a little weird.
I think he's
I
like
think he's
grabbing
grabbing
the guardrail to make sure he doesn't fall into
Die.
the ocean.
Which is a little weird.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
And then we get a nice shot of them hugging it out, which so cute. And then we get him putting on the battle mask, which oh boy, I really love that battle mask. I love that battle mask a lot, a lot, a lot. I really hope the movie Masterpiece figure has that battle mask, because I like that battle mask, if you couldn't tell.
Same. Oh, what was that laugh?
It's really nice. And then we get not an explosion, because there isn't a single explosion in this trailer. Yay. But a flaming helicopter flying at B, and he's catching it. Why is this helicopter on fire, you ask? I don't know.
We'll
I
find out.
I don't think it's a transformer, if anyone's wondering that. It's Blackout. Blackout seriously secretly died and was replaced with a Blackout clone before the movie. There we go.
So what happened for Blackout between Transformers and Revenge of the Fallen is what you're saying.
Yeah, except this one just kept the name Blackout. And then they were like,
It's-
oh, this new clone is slightly different colored. Let's call it Grindor.
It's Blackout's second cousin.
This is...
Whiteout.
Grinder was his. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so we get that. He's scraping against the ground all superhero-y style. Then we get a nice shot of him with the other body with him with the Jeep, and he's looking pretty nice too. Do you guys? I think we if you haven't noticed, I think Miguel hinted at it earlier. This isn't the first time we started to record this. It went very poorly the first time. After we were a little bit through the trailer, but now we're
'Cause
most
I
of the way
wasn't
through.
there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're right.
But we got through most of it, but it went poorly. But I think I asked during that recording, not this one. Do you guys prefer Jeep Bumblebee or Volkswagen Bumblebee body? Not necessarily alt mode, but like what the body looks like. I'm pretty sure the general consensus was Volkswagen. Is there anyone
I
who thinks
like
Jeep body or no?
Roundy B.
I was gonna say he's a lot more round. Is there anyone that likes Jeep body better or no?
I like it, but I don't think it's better.
Yeah, I still really like it, but I was gonna say I think he still has the battle mask whenever he has the Volkswagen mode. As
He
long as he
does.
does, yeah, as long as he does, then I like Volkswagen better. But
Yeah.
I do like Jeep mode. I'm curious if we'll get a toy of both.
Wouldn't put
Hopefully.
it past them.
I also like the unintentional reference to how Hound was the G1 partner for the first 3 episodes.
I don't think that's why they did it, but that
I
is
said
actually
unintentional.
no. Yeah, no, I know you did, but that is funny that it's like they combined basically Hound was the Bumblebee of the first 3 episodes. Then it was Bumblebee for in the Bumblebee role, past then. But it's like, hey, they literally morphed Bumblebee and Hound together. That's kind of funny. But yeah,
That fat.
I don't know. I'm curious if. Oh yeah, not movieverse Hound. He's not.
Yeah, I
He's
know.
not. I was gonna say
I
he's not
know, but I'm
obese.
just saying.
No, I know. Um, but yeah, I'm curious the studio series. If we take into consideration, they said we'll see 4 or 5 bots. I'm assuming B's second body does not count as a different bot, because that's one bot. It's just a body change. So we see B, presumably Starscream, Barricade's voice actors in the movie. So assuming Barricade, he's not playing a different role. Probably Barricade. If it's not Barricade, I'll be unhappy. That red
Mhm.
sports car, which I believe is probably not Barricade. And
Mhm.
then is
I'm
it?
hoping it's knockout
Am
still.
am I wrong, or was there a motorcycle ever shown off for the movie? I could be wrong on that.
I don't think so.
Me
Okay.
I
neither.
don't remember any news regarding that.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the very least, nothing saying like, "Hey, this could very likely be a Decepticon."
And so basically that would saying that there's the car, Barricade, Starscream, Bumblebee.
That's
That's
4.
4. So maybe Hot Rod could be a 5, but I don't think we're getting past there. Also, it's rumored whether or not Optimus Prime will appear in this movie,
Mm.
which would be very, very weird if he did. Kind of not. It's
If sorry,
no, you can keep going. It's weird.
I'm going
Continuity.
to say if Optimus is appearing, it's not going to be in person. It'd probably be through like a
Well, he's
hologram.
been on Earth before this.
True, but if they are trying to keep it in continuity with the
No,
first set of
I
movies,
no, I know what you're saying, but Optimus Prime has been on Earth before this, according to the
yeah,
last night. All of them have. So
yeah,
it's like the entire arrival scene is like, I guess it could just be them returning to Earth, even though it's called the arrival to Earth scene. It's just like, I guess it's still in continuity, because since he's already been here anyways, they could be here in person. But I have to agree with you. I think that if Optimus Prime shows up, it won't be in person. It'll be like a like radioing in, maybe. I doubt a hologram because we've never seen holograms before. So
I mean, we've also never
It's
seen visible head syndrome in vehicle mode before.
or it could just be a voice like through a communicator too.
well, yeah, that's what I said first, like him, like
Oh,
radioing him or something.
okay.
uh but yeah, so that is essentially that's the majority of the trailer. Is there anything after that? Say it
Um.
is called Bumblebee, not Bumblebee the movie, because that plays. Oh, and then yeah, we have the little stinger at the end. Not intentional, not stinger, but we have her talking to Bumblebee. Oh yes, because I know Sandra had mentioned this to me about possibly this movie showing Bumblebee with a voice and then him losing his voice box, just retconning the whole Megatron ripping it out on Cybertron. I kind of don't think they're going to do that because of this little scene where Charlie is like, "Oh well, we're going to teach you to communicate through music." Puts a little mixtape inside Bumblebee, and Bumblebee got rickrolled. Never gonna give you up. Yeah, but and then he spits it out like that and shoots it
And he
across
almost
the
takes
room.
her head off with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say she ducks as he launches it across the room and destroys it. I was just like, okay, that's good.
It's like it hits her, and it's like, well, movie's over.
She died.
Dun,
Death
dun,
by
dun,
rickroll.
dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun,
Never
dun,
rickroll
dun, dun.
Bumblebee because
He'll kill you with it.
The
Yeah.
only problem I have with that is that Rickrolling wasn't a thing back then,
Yeah.
Fair.
Well,
and
but
she's
but she
and
wasn't
she's.
doing. No, she wasn't doing it as a joke.
Yeah.
This is
I mean,
true.
Yeah, she wasn't doing it as a joke, and neither was he. Like, he was just getting rid of it because he's like, that's a garbage song, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, she wasn't doing it as a joke. She was serious. She's like, you need to learn to communicate through music.
I mean that. While that's certainly likely. The modern consciousness of that song just makes it feel like it's a joke, and just her smirk on her face before the tape is ejected into nearly her face makes me feel like, oh, ha, 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 you just
What?
Rickroll.
She didn't smile. She looked confused.
No, before, like, she
Bumblebee's a
pop,
time traveler, confirmed.
Bumblebee pops in the tape, she smirks, then the tape ejects, then she ducks, then she looks confused.
Well, no, she's happy because she's getting him to play the music. I know what you're saying. Like, no, the music, the joke is obviously a modern joke, but no, it fits in the
Yes.
continuity just fine. She wasn't thinking it was a joke. You're crazy.
That's
You're.
just how the scene read to me.
It's okay. You're allowed to be wrong. Nah, but she looked confused after he shot it at her. So
No, yeah.
she has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But no, I think Chris has actually nailed it on the head. Bumblebee time travels, so he actually did get the joke, even though she wasn't intending it to be a joke, and that's why she did that. Why he
I
did.
stopped the time.
Yep, because Hot Rod's gonna travel back in time, and yeah, Miguel nailed it on the head. Miguel, did you say that in this recording or the last recording? I'm pretty sure it was
He
the
did
last.
say it in any recording.
Oh, it was in
Wait,
between.
which
Uh,
part?
Your magical Hot Rod appearance in the Bumblebee movie
Oh,
theory.
yeah, no, totally. What's gonna happen is the post-credit scene will finally resolve the plot threads from the last night. Hot Rod will show up. He'll have his time gun, but he'll have strapped to it the Vector Prime's Prime Master, and will specifically call it like that by name. He'll then travel to the center of the Earth and eradicate Unicron's spark. He'll refer to himself as Rodimus Prime at some point. Maybe give a brief rundown of how everyone else is dead in the future. But then once he kills Unicron, it will have erased him from existence because the timeline he comes from no longer exists, thus paving the way for the future movies.
I like that idea.
Yep, which would still leave Bumblebee in the Bumblebee movie in continuity for whatever they do. You know, you could leave it in there. So, I am honestly curious if, because generally what I've been seeing is like this movie, which I forgot to mention in this recording. I think that my one friend who does not, he's not a Transformers fan, but he has seen the movies. He does not like the movies, and he literally saw me retweet the Bumblebee trailer, and he responded with that he's like, I don't like the Transformers movies, but after this trailer, I will be there to watch this movie in the theater. And I was like, that's awesome. Like, that's an outside perspective. I'm like, that's refreshing to hear, because I know that a lot of people would just generally go to Transformers movies, but not necessarily love them. They're, starting to get tired of them. But no, he's on board for this, even though he doesn't like the movies. So I'm like, that's cool. But yeah, I think it's funny that they've just announced that Transformers Cinematic Universe is ending definitively, and they're going to start new in 3 years or so, right? And then it's just like, oh, the first Bayverse movie that people actually are going to like, and they just decided to ditch the universe right before this one comes out, and everyone likes this movie. I'm just like, that's kind of funny if that's how it goes, but hey, we'll see. If not,
Something
it
that
looks good on its own. Like, it doesn't need a universe, I don't think. I think this looks like it'll be a solid, just single film, but I don't know. What were you gonna say, Miguel?
no, something that I realized today is that while it took way longer, ultimately both of the directions that Transformers went in 2007, animated and the live action movies, they both ended canceled with unresolved plot threads.
You're right.
Oh.
It was something very tragic that I realized earlier today.
Speaking of the movies ending, Miguel, remind me after the show to tell you about this idea I had.
Okay.
Although animated had a lot less of a cliffhanger than
Oh no, it
the
certainly
movie. But
had.
no, you're
It
I've
right.
not
certainly
seen it.
had
I've not seen it, so please don't spoil it.
Everyone dies, so you don't have to worry what
naturally.
happens.
Okay,
Um,
that's what I figured.
no, animated certainly. Well, I guess more there's like a lot of potential. They both ended where they had potential.
Hmm.
Where because we know what they were going for, at
Yeah.
least for the future of, and I mean there were still unresolved plot threads with certain characters' origins and everything.
Oh yeah, like there was still more that could have been done, but it still had way more of a
No,
definitive ending
no,
than
it had more of a definitive ending. The live action movies, unless Bumblebee, the Bumblebee movie resolves them, will
with your
end with
exact hot rod theory.
unless my exact hot rod theory plays out, you're gonna end with Quintessa basically just asking random workers, "Hey, do you want to help me kill Unicron?"
Hey, will you help me kill Unicron? Crazy lady, please, please just leave. Like, will you help me kill Unicron? I can just imagine that. But yeah, so that's basically it. There's not much else I can think for this movie other than, man, I'm excited to see more character designs for the, well, only a couple more, but the other character designs because this aesthetic for the robot characters is amazing, and also toys because movie masterpiece Bumblebee. I'm very curious to see also the Studio Series figures because I'm especially excited to see that Starscream.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm guessing a Voyager.
Same.
yes.
Who knows?
Yeah, they'd better be a Voyager because that would be weird if it was a deluxe.
When we have literally the same character, assuming it is Starscream, we would have the same character in the same universe in Voyager scale. But yeah,
This guy, except bigger. For those who don't know, I'm holding up my RID Starscream.
Warrior
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Starscream. Yeah, we just give him a
I
little bit
did
more
put.
detailing and make him bigger, and then yeah, it looks like
You
a
can't
movie versus Starscream now. So
can't you can't see it, but I did put Decepticon stickers on the wings.
oh nice. But
Nice.
for those, so I just want to do one quick little thing first. Who's the one character you'd like to see return? Doesn't have to make sense, but I mean, like, try to make it serious, not like, oh, I want Wheelie. But like,
Devastator.
okay, if you genuinely want Devastator, that's
No,
fine.
no, 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 no. Shockwave. Shockwave. Why did I say Devastator? Shockwave.
See, the problem is he's like Megatron right now. He's frozen just by the
Ha-
Russians.
What if this is a
Is
new
he?
universe, though? Yeah.
Well, wait, what if this is what?
What if this is the new universe? What if he's not frozen by the Russians in this timeline?
Oh, we know
Okay.
this is the same timeline.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
well, here's the thing. I'm gonna say, is that canon in the movies? Because
Dark
if
of the
it's not
Moon.
canon, because if it's not canon within the movies themselves, I don't think that counts as canon.
Dark of the Moon
Was
game
canon,
was
I remember.
counted as canon because it is specifically just a prequel for the movie and also
Oh, the
Yeah.
game. Yes.
yeah, the
Okay.
Dark of the Moon game, which is where that's where you find out like
Okay.
why wasn't Shockwave messing people up before?
Okay.
Also, well, Eric, you said it didn't have to make
No,
sense.
no, no, no. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That it doesn't make sense, but no, I would totally back you up on that.
Because imagine like the combination of that new G1 aesthetic in the
Oh
movie
god,
verse,
Bumblebee would be dead
but
though.
with Shockwave.
Bumblebee would be dead though, unless does Shockwave get his worm thingy?
No, no worm thingy.
Okay, then maybe Bumblebee will survive.
Yeah.
Guys, do you think Bumblebee will die in this movie? No, but
Yes.
I'd be willing
It's
to
a
bet we'll
prequel.
get a fake out scene though at some point.
nah, I doubt it.
No.
I don't think they'd
They
even
can't.
bother with that. I was gonna say they won't even bother.
Okay.
Soundjack, who's your pick?
Soundwave.
Okay.
And it could make sense.
Oh yeah, that could work.
Actually, it would make sense because he's confirmed to have been on Earth since at least the space race.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
that actually gave me a bit of an idea. So, Soundwave makes an appearance in Earth's orbit again. He gets in contact with Barricade, and Soundwave ejects Frenzy to Barricade, telling Barricade that um, Barricade needs to take him to Air Force One to drop him off so he could be on Air Force One as that
So you
like
think like a post-credit
boombox.
scene?
Yeah,
Okay, I was gonna say I was like, cause that
Yeah.
would not. It's like I'm ejecting Frenzy now in like 20 some years. I need
yeah.
you to take him to Air Force One. No, but that'd
No,
actually be kind of funny.
20 years
no,
exactly,
see,
actually.
no, the way it works is that Barricade, like Soundwave's the commanding officer for the Earth mission, like of trying to find Megatron. Like they've tracked down that Megatron is at very least on Earth, so that means that Allspark is on Earth. They can't find it, but then Barricade puts in his like mission report. It's like, oh, I think I'm hot on the trail of like Megatron or like the map to the Allspark.
Hmm.
And then Soundwave's like, all right, well then use Frenzy. And Soundwave's like, Barricade's like, cool. And then he just like pals around with him for 20
Buddy cop
years.
movie. Buddy cop movie.
Just
And every
bullshitting
single
for
last
20.
Decepticon has a little hole in their chest, perfect to fit a Frenzy. Just like how in the G1 movie, pretty much like every other Autobot has a perfect opening for the Matrix in case they get it passed down to them because Ultra Magnus had it for some reason.
Also,
Well,
I gotta
actually,
say,
Ultra Magnus makes sense because he was next in
Well,
line, so they specifically
Yeah.
gave him one.
yeah,
It's Hot Rod that it's like, why did he have one?
Yeah.
Why would he ever have one?
Well, okay, here's the thing for Hot Rod. The Matrix reformatted him before he even attempted to put the Matrix in his chest, so...
fair.
Yeah. But anyways, Miguel, who would you want in the movie?
Soundjack stole my idea.
Your idea was wait, did he say Soundwave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it sounded. That's my idea. It's like, well, I'll have Soundwave and then have like just like him as a quick cameo and just sort of to better establish how the Earth mission was going. Like
Mhm.
he's up between either orbit and dealing with humans. Then you have Starscream, Barricade, and whoever else is around.
Mhm.
Maybe throw in just another cameo from one of the other 07 Decepticons. Just have them established on Earth this early.
Bone Crusher.
Bone Crusher, Brawl,
Blackout.
Blackout, Scorponok, whoever. Just
I
show
wouldn't
that.
mind Blackout being like a
Yeah.
very quick cameo in the beginning, only because he would be the first one to be on screen again, because he was the first one on screen ever for
Yeah.
live action movies. But
That would.
Or even do a thing where maybe have like Starscream, Ramjet, whoever it is, or any of the other Decepticons leaving Earth, sort of like how Starscream does in the end of the first movie, but
Mhm.
have them go to the Nemesis
Mhm.
and then just do a quick thing where you show like them and maybe a cheeky little thing with you have the fall in the background or something, and then just end it
Uh-huh.
there.
That'd be cool.
I have to
Person-
say
Yeah.
about the Soundwave thing real quick.
wait, I want to say mine first though.
Okay.
I'm picking Hot Rod as mine though because as I mentioned a couple times before, I would love to see some team up because some of my favorite parts from the last night was B and Hot Rod kicking some Nazi butt. So seeing B and Hot Rod together again would actually be kind of cool. So I think that'd be a neat thing to actually carry forth because I think that would also because I think they're trying to play up the emotional value of this movie, and I think that hey, like having a brother is that can lead to some nice emotional moments. So yeah, Jared, did you say one or no?
No, I have two actually. One being actually serious, the other being completely not serious at all whatsoever. But I think it'd just be hilarious if this were somehow, in some way, able to happen in some unknown universe. But to have a cameo by the man himself, Bisk,
Oh,
just have him there. Just have him at the that
Yeah.
scene wherever B transforms while they're on the beach. Just have him just chilling and saying, "Sup?"
that would be
Yes.
hilarious. Just a lobster. Okay. But what if it was him with Revenge of the Fallen Megatron in orange with two cannon arms and just a bisque head? How amazing would that be?
And a
What
blue
if that's
brother
just what he looked like,
or
though?
cousin.
Would be that
Um,
would just be perfect.
but my actual answer for that question, I wouldn't mind seeing Jazz again in the movie. It probably wouldn't. Again, it wouldn't make any sense at all for him being there. Um,
But you know what? As much as I'm like, but that makes no sense. I'm like, but this aesthetic,
yeah.
I would love to see Jazz. I
Mhm.
would love to see Jazz with this aesthetic because Jazz is one of the movie designs that I already like. I already like that design a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take just a little bit of G1, sprinkle it in there, I think it could be really, really darn good. So, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah, kind of like a
I would like to see that.
almost like a rally car or something like that.
I mean, basically, it's like, what if you took the G1 redeco of the original movie toy and just made like it look good?
Mm-hmm.
Because that toy does not look good. I love
Mhm.
Jazz, and I love that toy because that's one of my first Transformers. But God, that toy sucks. It's not good. Not good
Mhm.
anymore. Has not aged well at
No.
all.
No.
But yeah, so what were you gonna say about the Soundwave thing, Chris?
I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him in there, but I really don't want another movie where we have Soundwave and all he ever does is just talk to people from space.
He only
Like,
does
I
that
want
in
him
one
to.
movie.
I know, but it was like one of two movies we had with him, and yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like seeing him, but I want him to do more than just the same thing he did in Revenge of the
Oh, well,
Fallen.
I mean, he can't do much because he just has to be there for a cameo. So I'd be okay with it because it makes sense.
Okay,
That's
if
his
it's just a
job. But
cameo, then
oh
yeah. But
yeah,
if
no,
they're
no, I
making him
was
a
gonna say,
character, then
I
no.
highly doubt he's a character. But yeah, if he was, I would not want him up there either. But if it's a cameo, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no cameo. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
cool with the cameo.
But yeah, I think that's about it. Does anyone else have anything they want to say for this movie other than yes, toys?
It cost me my voice, and it's awesome, and I can't wait, and I'm excited,
Yeah,
and oh my god, I'm gonna pass out.
was
Good
gonna
night.
say I went from being like, oh great, I have to see this movie to I want to see this movie.
Yeah, same.
Mhm.
Did we mention like what the actual our actual like theory is for like the order in which these clips are taken
Yeah,
from?
yeah, we said that he gets attacked in the beginning and then Starscream is the one that shoots him. Oh, yeah, so then
Yeah, that
Starscream shoots him in the forest because that transformation sequence we see of Starscream is over a forest. So we think that he's the one shooting him in the forest and then he gets his new body and such and the movie continues.
yeah, because in the forest scene, you can't. It's kind of hard to tell as it's going on, but if you pause at that scene, you can tell that it is indeed his Jeep body.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's basically how we think the movie will play out in terms of that. I bet if that is the open like towards the beginning that we will see Starscream return for the end too, is my
Hmm.
guess. But yeah, so I am definitely curious how all of that works out, but we'll find out with probably more trailers, but also when the movie comes out, we'll see. So 6 months, that's what we have to wait for this movie. So.
Uh,
6 months and 16 days. That is coming out December 21st.
Yeah. But although I
Hmm.
gotta admit, I'm okay with a bit of a wait for movies, cause oh my God, three major movies for me all just right in a row has really been a mind blower in terms of Avengers, uh, Deadpool, and Han Solo all at once. Just like oh my God, overload, overload. But yeah, so that'll be fun. There isn't a Star Wars movie in December for the first time in
two,
has it been
three.
4 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been four
Yeah.
years since we've not gotten a Star Wars movie in December.
Yeah. And there's not even a Marvel film coming out this at the end of the year, so Bumblebee's kind of just sitting there by itself.
No, it's not by itself actually. You know it is coming out same weekend, I believe.
What?
Aquaman. Which be that like you might want to say it's a
Oh
joke, but
yeah.
Aquaman is coming out, and that actually will be a competitor for it. So
Didn't even think about DC. But I mean, it is.
Who
I would
does?
say it is Aquaman, and people
Yeah.
actually did seem to like Aquaman from Justice League. So hey, we'll see. We'll have to see how that movie is. That movie hasn't gotten a trailer yet. I'm kind of curious to see that now, but
Hmm.
Okay.
I know which I'll be seeing first. Although I'll be seeing both pretty much opening day. But anyways, uh, yeah, that's about it for this episode. So you can, as always, check us out in all the usual podcast places under Nerdy Geek Talk, where we have all of our different shows. I don't think we need to run through social media because we just did that on the last episode, which just went up as of this recording. So basically a day before this. Um,
It's also all in the description too, right?
Yep. Yeah. But basically, if you want to let us know your Bumblebee movie trailer thoughts, tweet us at Steel City Bots, and we'll probably retweet and or respond to all of your Bumblebee movie thoughts, what you think of the trailer, because I am genuinely curious what you guys think of the trailer as well, from like the band's perspective, because gosh, I'm happy. But yeah, I think that's about it. So thanks for listening, and yeah, tune in next time. Hopefully for like
Sayonara.
I say, hopefully for a normal episode though, not another random out of the blue episode. But yeah, see you guys.
Sayonara.